Hi, I'm at MG Gova here in Ho Chi Minh City, and today I want to show you an amazing car, and that is the MG Cyberster. And this is a fantastic electric vehicle, and most importantly, it's a convertible. And let's get into it. Let me give you a detailed interior and exterior review of this car.
Hey Tom, it's the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather. First I want to say congratulations on your YouTube channel. Everybody needs to follow your YouTube channel. So what everyone needs to do is subscribe to Tom Peng. Great guy, great person. Tom, keep up the great work.
So when we think about MG as a brand, this is actually a car company, a car brand that's 100 years old. As you see, it started with Morris Oxford, all right? In 1924. And MG is notoriously known for its roadsters. For example, this is the 1971 MGB. They built small, nimble, two-seat cars that are convertibles, that are very flickable. And you can just take it down the country road and go into corners. That's the kind of cars they built. Unfortunately, the car company exchanged hands many times. Eventually, in year 2000, they went bankrupt and they were purchased by a Chinese company called SAIC. That's the Shanghai Automotive Company that purchased the MG brand. And then they started making cars like this one. This is the new MG5, all right? And over there, there's the MG RX5. And they start making cars that appeal to the mass consumer. But this year, in 2023, they announced they're gonna go back to their roots and they're gonna make cars like this. So again, I would like to thank MG Gova for inviting me to their dealership on their launch day for the MG Cyberster. And they're also launching the MG5 and the RX5. Both are actually very cool, very utilitarian, very usable fossil fuel gas cars, right? You know, I love electric cars, but if you're looking for a gas car, the MG brand is actually a really, really good choice. Look into it, come to the Gova dealership and find out more about the MG. Today, we're gonna talk about the Cyberster. So when I say MG, now a Chinese brand is going back to its roots and building roadsters like this one, it's not exactly accurate because cars like this are really heavy because they are electric vehicles. So I would say this is not a sports car, but this is a grand tourer. This is similar to the Mercedes SL class, or maybe the BMW 650 Cabriolet, or maybe the Bentley GTC. Basically, this is in those categories, convertibles and really good at going down the highway at a high speed with the roof down. And I love those type of cars. That's why I always have Mercedes SLs for the last probably 20 or 30 years. And now I think SLs and BMWs and Bentleys have a real competition in MG because this is a grand tourer. So let's start with the exterior of the MG Cyberster, all right? So when you look at this car, it does give you a very sporty profile. It looks like a sporty car. It looks like a Grand Tour. It looks like it can go fast, but it's not overly flashy. It's not like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. So you can actually take this down the road, you know, and get some attention, but without being too overly flamboyant, you know, like being like you're not like a fucking rock star, right? But this will get attention for sure, especially with the roof down. Let's go around the car. I love the front profile of the MG Cyberster. It looks very sporty. This is actually very low. So imagine yourself getting hit by an MG Cyberster. Right? So you'll lose your leg, you'll lose your knee, but everything else will be okay because this is actually quite low. And I love the front grille. It looks like an actual grille, but of course it's not because it's an electric car. It does not need to breathe. So that is actually a fake grille, but it does make the car look sporty, like a really fast and powerful gas car. So even though it is an electric car, but it does not lose the profile of a sporty petrol car. It does have a long, elongated bonnet, all right, the front. This is actually totally not usable. If you open it, you'll see that it's fully occupied with different tanks for different fluids. So the front does not offer you a frunk. There's no storage there, but it does give you easy access to fill different type of fluids that this car requires. And while we're back to this corner, let me show you the big ass brakes. This is actually a Brembo brake. And with braking regen, this car is gonna brake so good, all right? So you can go fast and you can brake fast. And that is really, really cool. And I love the wheels. I love the wheels. It is a 20-inch rim and it looks beautiful. So the MG Cyberster is designed with aerodynamics in mind. If you look at the airflow, so the air kind of flows through this. There's kind of a foil there, and then there's a little bit of foil to trap the air inside here. And then, of course, it's got fins in the back. So all of this is not just to make it look handsome and sexy, but also to give it really good aerodynamic profile so that it will glow through the air so that it can help it go fast. And also on this foil here, it does have the 100th anniversary label here because they're releasing this car at the 100th year after the founding of MG. This is actually historically important model. I especially like the design. Look at all the grids that are in here. I don't know what purpose they offer, but they certainly look very cool. The car comes with two different variations, maybe three. One is rear-wheel drive and one is all-wheel drive. And if I'm going to buy this car, I'm gonna get the all-wheel drive version, which is gonna give you 544 horsepower. And that's gonna propel this car from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.2 seconds. I would love to put that to the test when I can get my hands on this car. It's currently not yet available for sale in Vietnam, but I'm looking forward to that day when this car is available for sale. But let's get back to the exterior of the car. And to get into the car, it has a very interesting car opening mechanism. And there's a button here that you could press, but you have to immediately eject yourself, otherwise the door will not open. Let me show you what I mean. So when I press the door button, it's not opening because the car knows that I'm here. If the door open, it will smash me in the head. So the car is smart enough not to open the door. But let me show you how to do it again. If I press the button, yes! Oh shit, because I got too close to the car. So let's try that again. This is funny. Okay, let's try to get this done right, okay? So press the button, run! Yeah! That's how you open the door on the MG Cyberster. You press the button and you have to eject yourself, all right? Of course, there's a better way of opening the door, and that is using the key, all right? So press the button, hold it. You don't have to get too close to the car, all right? So that's kind of a quirky feature of the MG Cyberster. Of course, this looks deceptively like a gas filler, all right? But no, it's actually a charger. You know, that's how you plug into the charger at home. Because if you buy this car in Vietnam, there's no charging network here. You can't really use the fast charging network. So you gotta set up the charger at home and plug it in right here. It's probably gonna take you a whole night to charge the car up to 100%. But you know what? That's pretty good because go home, charge up to 100%. Next day, you have a fully charged MG Cyberster ready to take you on a 500-kilometer journey, which is what a fully charged MG Cyberster allows you to do, 500 kilometers. That's pretty good. Of course, on paper, we really need to test that out. So let's go to the back end of the MG Cyberster, all right? And the first thing that stands out is the arrows, all right? They say that the arrows represent the British flag, all right? And I don't know, I think they just look like arrows. And I think it's kind of unique because there are no cars with turning signals like that. It does have a very sporty profile in the back as well. And let me show you the trunk. When you press the button, it pops up a little bit. I guess this is manual still, so you have to pull it up. And you do get a generous storage in the back, which probably will allow you to put 2 medium-sized luggages in there. It does go fairly deep, but it's not very high. So you have to plan accordingly when you travel with luggages or whatever you carry. So I do love the MG emblem here. I think it's well placed. Of course, this is an electric car, so there is no exhaust, which means it's quiet, all right? This car is going to be very quiet, but it does have some fake sounds that it does make. I'll show you that later. So this is what the car looks like when the rooftop is down, and it looks pretty sexy. There's actually a press a button. You can actually raise the roof, and it will be a soft canvas. And the cool thing about this is that you can actually raise or lower the canvas top while driving. I can't remember what actual speed you have to be under, but you can actually do it while you're driving, which I cannot do with my Mercedes SL because you actually have to stop the car, put it in park before you can actually do anything. So I thought that was a really cool feature. Don't have to stop to raise or lower the roof. So overall, I love the exterior appearance of this car. I really think it's a sexy car. It is a sexy sports car with the roof down. Later on, we're gonna see the car with the roof back up. So now let's get into the car and see what I really am impressed about this car, which is its interior. All right, let's go. All right, let's get in. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Of course, this being somewhat of a sporty car, the car feels lower, and of course, you gotta take extra care when you do get into the car and don't bump your head on the door. So to get this door down, there's a button right here. Press it and the door comes down. Oh, and then it puts you into the driving position. All right, let me lower the window here. So what's great about the MG Cyberster is that it's very civilized, all right? You never have to slam the door ever again. Everything's done for you. You just have to be careful not to get too close to the door when you try to open it. And now let's look at the interior. So the first thing I noticed when I get into the MG Cyberster is that the screens are all in Chinese, and that's expected. After all, this is made in China. This car is not yet available for sale. This is going to be available on the market in different countries in 2024. I'm hoping that this will become available in Vietnam because I will certainly be one of the first people to buy it, and I really want to put a deposit on it. But we are probably working with a pre-production vehicle, and that means a lot of these things we're going to see here are in Chinese. Luckily, I do understand Chinese, but not in simplified Chinese. Let's see what we have here. So first of all, I have 4 different screens. So I have a screen here, I have a screen in the center console, I have a screen over there, and of course I have a screen here as well. And on this side, I have various reporting, tells me about the status of different things in the car. In the center, I have a nice 3D rendering of the vehicle in red, and it probably tells me about speed and different status of the car. And on the side here, apparently I have to start scan QR code to find out what that can do. And finally, here is my climate control. And also the gear change is fairly unique because it doesn't look like any gear change of any other car. So you have P, R, N, and D. So you have parking, reverse, neutral, and drive. And to get into drive, which I probably should not do because I'm in the dealership here. To get into drive, you do it like that. Kind of pull forward like this. And then now I can actually drive the car away. Maybe if I like floor it, maybe I can just like drive the car away. But they're looking at me, so maybe I should not do that, okay? All right, let's put it back into the parking. And like Ferraris, it does come with a super sport button, all right? The super sport button. And you know me, if I'm driving any car, it's gotta be in the super sport mode, all right? So I assume you press this button, the car will be optimized for the highest speed, the highest acceleration, the best performance, right? So of course we can't test that out today. So there's actually a button here. Apparently this is like the driving assistance feature in the VinFast. So you press this button, the car will drive itself, you'll follow the car in front of you. Of course, again, we cannot really test that, but I would love to test that feature and see if it actually performs better than the VinFast. One thing I do notice about the steering wheel is that it is made of very, very nice material. It's made from probably really high quality leather. In fact, I would have to say that the quality of the finish in the car is exceptional. Look at this Alcantara, surface right here. Everything just feels very, very well done, very, very well put together. I would say this is something that I would pay probably $100,000 or more, and probably this is how much the car will be costing. The higher end version, the one with the 2 motors and 544 horsepower, I'm going to guess what the price of the car is going to be. But of course, the pricing is not final here in Vietnam. The seating position is actually quite comfortable, and it's very reminiscent of my Mercedes SL. It does feel, in fact, feels very much like my Mercedes SL. The seat actually holds you into position so that as you corner, it's not like you're actually gonna fling this car into corners, but as you fling into corners, you're pretty well held up in the car by the seat. So that is a good thing. In terms of storage, it's not gonna be great because it's a sports car after all. There's a little bit of storage here, and there's some storage in the back here. It is a 2-seat car. There's no second row, but you can actually put probably your small, bags in the back side here. And there's also some storage on the side. And it's not gonna offer you a whole lot, basically not much at all. And then of course there is the glove compartment, which also will not hold very much. So if you need to carry a lot of stuff, this probably is not the car you take. And we always have to talk about the cup holders, right? I like how the cup holders, when you put the cups in, you just go in like that. So it automatically create a space for your cup. And when you're done using it, you can raise the bottom like this. Push it in and come out. So the most important feature of a Roadster, and I've owned many Roadsters, mainly SLs and SLKs, the most important feature in a Roadster is this. All right, this thing right here. This is called a rollover thing. In the SL, it's called the rollover bar. But in the case you do roll this car over, which will be actually quite difficult because it's so fucking heavy. But if you do roll over the car, this is gonna save your ass. This is gonna save your head, because without this, your head will turn into a mush, all right? It'll be a scrambled egg if you do roll this car over without it. So I'm happy it does come with this, all right? And now let me show you how to close the roof. So there's a button in the center console here. I've actually never done this, but I assume this is the button. When you press it, I think you do have to hold it, and the roof comes back up. And it's actually pretty quick. It's certainly faster than my SL. All right, and it's probably gonna close the window now. Bye-bye, see ya, bye. So now I'm inside the car, and it actually feels very quiet inside. I cannot hear anything outside. Hello, camera people. Hello, can you hear me? Because I certainly cannot hear you, and it's really, really isolating. I'm telling you, with the roof up, you can't tell this is soft top because it is so quiet in here. I can hear the AC vents. That's about it. I cannot hear the road. I cannot hear the salespeople in the dealership. I can't hear shit. Can you hear me? You can't hear me, right? So what I'm saying is that, wow. I mean, I don't know what magic they put into this. With a soft top, actually there's really good sound isolation. And I think this is the reason why they actually put fake motor sound into it. Let me show you that after I get the top back down again. So now we got the roof down, and like I said, the car is so quiet when you have the roof up. And of course we can't drive the car, so really can't test the road noise, but I can tell this is going to be a very quiet car, which can be quite unnerving. When you're driving a car that makes no sound and you can't hear anything outside, you tend to get a little bit crazy, all right? Maybe a little bit nervous, maybe a little bit uncomfortable. So that's why MG actually put in fake sound in the car. Let me show you. So on this screen right here, there's actually an option to select the sound that you want to hear when you drive the MG Cyberster. So for example, you can have a gas car sound, like a traditional gas engine. So when you drive the Cyberster, that's what it's gonna sound in here. Not the outside, just in here. I think I prefer the quietness over that. How about another sound like this one? This is more like high tech. This is the EV sound, okay? Still, if it's me, I would prefer just the quietness. I don't mind the car being quiet. I actually enjoy that more than a very noisy, loud car. And as you can see, there's actually many more options you can choose. It tells you to wait for it because it's not available yet, but there'll be additional sounds available in the future, I guess through software updates. So as I'm working on this screen, one thing I do notice is that the steering wheel is actually blocking a lot of the screens. The screens are actually touchable. They actually can be manipulated with your fingers, but the wheel blocks the screen. And I actually know the reason for that, and that is, this is the production wheel. Eventually, when they ship the car, this is going to be the wheel. But the concept car, the initial design was not a standard wheel, but a yoke. So it's actually much smaller. It wouldn't block the screens, but I guess MG decided to put in a more traditional wheel. And by doing so, this wheel actually block the screen, which is actually kind of counterintuitive because I would have to go like this to see the screen, or that to see the screen, or that to see the screen. So probably something to improve. One thing that's important to me when I'm driving a car is good music, all right? Especially, with a beautiful girl on the side, with the roof down, you're holding hands, you gotta put some like really nice music on the speakers. And I like to play Cold Entrance so far, with the girl in hand. But we can't test that today. I would love to test that when I do get the car eventually in the future. But I can see 2 speakers in the front right here, but it actually comes 8 different speakers in the car. So it's actually gonna give you really good audio, I believe, but that remains to be tested. And when you're driving a petrol car, maybe the Mercedes SL, even though it's an automatic car, I love to going through the gears. For example, you have the paddles right here, and then you can go to, you can downshift, you can upshift like so. You cannot do that with an electric car, however, because electric cars have no gears. But what I do love about the MG is that it comes with paddle shift right here, okay? Paddle shift, oh yeah, baby. And what the paddle shift do is not to change gear, but rather to switch the different modes in the car. So for example, if you want high brake regen, then you just basically downshift. And what that simulates is like you're going down a gear. And so when the brake is trying to generate more energy from the stopping, then you feel like the car is actually slowing down. So by doing this, you actually feel like you're driving a petrol car, a standard manual petrol car. And I think that's really, really cool. So I think I'm in love with this car. I think this could be a replacement of my Mercedes SL in Canada. Maybe this is going to be my Roadster in Vietnam. And hey, Miss Fong. I don't know. I think this button right here. Hey. No, like that. Yeah, that's right. See, it does come with an armrest so that you can hold your girl's hand while you're like driving down the road with your roof down and with your 8 speakers. Yeah, that's life, man. That's life. Why you sit like that? You have to sit like a lady. And while Miss Fong is in the car, there's one more thing I noticed about the MG Cyberster, and that is everything in the consoles is facing me, meaning this is a very driver-centric car. Miss Fong is not going to be able to change anything here. Maybe the climate control, but she's got this thing in the way, so she can't really, change her temperature right here. So, but she does have this, which is quite important because Peng is driving. She's probably gonna hold on to this, scared for her life, like that, right? So that's important for her. But other than that, she really has no way to access any of the information and controls in the screens here. This is a very driver-centric car. So let me offer you my final summary of the MG Cyberster. This is a nice car. I mean, I would buy this car in any jurisdiction, whether it's Vietnam or Canada, anywhere. I would own one of these. Hey, how are you? Is this car for sale? Can I buy it?
Hiện tại bây giờ thì chưa.
Thì chưa, okay. When can I buy it?
Cái này hiện tại bây giờ thì chưa, nhà máy nó chưa cho nhận cọc trước, thì khi nào mà có thì em sẽ báo sau.
I see. When do you think that will happen?
Thời gian thì tầm khoảng vào năm sau.
Next year, 2024, maybe early part of next year?
Dạ đúng rồi.
Oh, that's wonderful because I'll be coming back and I do want to put a deposit on this. I want to be one of the first people here in Vietnam to own the MG Cyberster.
Dạ
So do you want to sell me one?
Dạ được.
Okay, great, wonderful. So talk to Mr. Dang, okay? Mr. Dang can sell you a Cyberster too. So I spent the last hour or two with the MG Cyberster, even though I could not drive it because this is not plated. You cannot take it on the road. But I am in love with this car. It has a beautiful exterior. It has an even sexier interior because it's the inside that counts, right? You gotta go inside. And it's a lovely car. It's a beautiful car. I love this car. I want this car. I already have a Mercedes SL in Vietnam, and that car is right now in the shop for the last 2 years or so. But I love that car. SL is always the go-to car for me. It's a convertible. It is a Grand Tourer. It goes fast. And this is what this car can do, and can do better, because this car can do 100 km/h from 0 in 3.2 seconds. And it's got big ass Brembo brakes. It's gonna brake fast, and don't know about the corners, but then again, Grand Tourers don't need to be so good at the corners, including the SL. So I think this is the kind of car I love, all right? I love big ass, heavy, fast cars that you can take on the highway and go on a long journey. And that's what I believe the MG Cyberster will excel at. And I really, really want to get my hands on one. Please, MG, sell it in Vietnam. Please, I will buy 3. Please, let me have some Cyberster love, okay? All right, so take some fucking action. Look into the MG cars. Maybe not this one, but maybe the other MG cars like the RX-5 and the new MG5. And they're actually cool cars too. Although not electric, but I love this one. Don't be a fucktard.